All right, what's up, y'all? Hopefully this will be short, but I kind of want to talk about as we're going into earnings seasons for some of these bigger names. I kind of want to talk about how to read flow for them, and this is I don't advise of this, and I'll never advise of like trading earnings. There's only one way to trade earnings. I've already kind of talked about that, but this can kind of give you. There is sometimes you do see some things that are pretty unusual, and I kind of want to explain this. So. Um, in Discord, I ended up typing this out. Let's see if I could pull it up. If I can fucking find it. Because this was a really interesting flow on Google. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. So, right here, this was yesterday towards close. Google earning bull. So let's kind of discuss what this was. So as you can see here, these are not, so Google had earnings today. These were for next week. They were basically buying right on the money, okay? And you can see here you've got 330, or I'm sorry, $322,000 bought, and then 320. So okay, so basically this is around almost 700K bought. If you look at the timestamps, this is kind of middle of the day, which is still kind of interesting. If we go look at the previous chain, you can see not much activity. You can go check open interest, so you can see, yeah, so there is 200 contracts in existence. Actually, I think I'll turn this down. Prior to that, and then you could see 2,000 were basically bought that day. Open interest transferred over. And then, so there was some sells as well earlier today. So maybe this whale was taking profit because these things were bought at about $4, currently up almost 50%. So they could have taken some off into earnings, which is kind of what it looks like. More than likely, since they were up. You could see here 100 or 1,000 volume today. We'll see if open interest goes down tomorrow. So pretty interesting. Now let's go look at the chart. So they bought these on 1028. Okay, so we'll break this down. Okay, so they were basically buying this as Google sold, and I can't remember the news. So yeah, they basically bought these pretty much about right here. Would have been better if they would have bought them on this like really big dip, but who cares? It was still pretty interesting. And if we can go look at, let's go look at Google. Let's see. Okay, so top chain is these 180 calls for this week. Let's look at those. Super, super messy. And you can see here, there's a $250,000 whale that's up currently up 400%. They're going to be up super fat. I mean, this is just really messy to read, but there's a lot of premium in this, even though it looks like to me that there's opening a lot of call spreads on Google. I've been trying to watch, but was pretty interesting. Got these puts. Yeah, a lot of bullish flow in my opinion. Nothing really super clean. But what I will say is when I saw this come in, this was extremely clean. I really, really like this. And especially the double hits. Now if they bought these at the ask and then you see they sold them at the bid, I would assume they would have closed their position, but they basically were double dip buying. So they were pretty confident in this trade. To me, this is extremely bullish. Now, into earnings, I didn't love it. I did take some with small size. Nothing too crazy. But these should open up at, this is going to be 181. I mean, I would want to see Google make a really strong push. I'm assuming Google's going to probably go higher. I mean, you can see where this candle's going to go up. Possibly maybe towards this like 182, 183. So, I mean, $11 move on Google. This whale's sitting deep in the money with a week. especially that they weren't this week's, gave me a little bit more confidence that this is kind of a smart whale. Somebody always knows more than others, or whatever the saying is. Somebody always knows something. That they were basically buying these right on the money for next week. Super clean. This had no real option activity. It looks like they took some off. Maybe they didn't. But really, really, really clean trade, in my opinion. And if we want to, let's go look at like the weeklies. Let's see if anything came in. Let's look at these 190s, 175s, 185s. Okay. So we can look at the rest of the chain as well. I'm just going to look at this week's just for... Okay, so not really buying any of those. Same thing here. I mean, you can see some small whales. Nothing, that's not even really crazy. All this is just pretty much nonsense flow. But yeah. So, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I mean, it was super clean, in my opinion. Good trade. I mean, if you're going to gamble into earnings, do it on something like that. I mean, hopefully you guys could tell. This has, like, no real activity. There's not a fuck ton of candles of people buying. These are everyone, your retail buddies, whatever. I mean, this is extremely messy. Extremely messy. And I'm pretty sure all these probably had some type of decent flow before. Yeah, not really. But yeah, really clean, really simple. Those contracts I think are going to open up at $10. So when they came out at $4.34, I think. So that whale's going to be up pretty significantly. Yeah, contracts should be maybe they run to $12, but definitely 150%. But yeah, super clean trade. It's kind of what I'm looking at. I think AMD has earnings this week. I didn't really look at it. Like some of these other strikes. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Super clean, super easy to follow. Hopefully you guys can kind of point out the nonsense and be able to just kind of look. Majority of flow is basically, you look at 40 different trades and then, only 2 of them are kind of interesting. So just kind of keep that in mind. These came in last 2 seconds of the day. Real messy. If I want to kind of keep looking, like what's interesting, Chipotle, kinda, nothing too crazy. Expensive contracts. I guess I could go through some of my ones that I've kind of looked at this week. Take VST off. Costco looked really good. Where is it? Yeah, these 840 puts. Little. I mean, not super pricey. $1.85. They peaked at almost $3, $2, basically $100 per contract. That was pretty interesting. CNC, kind of dead in the water right now. Not really get a ton of option flow. ST. But yeah, I won't get too much into it. But yeah, Google, really good trade. Easy, gonna wake up super fat. But hope you guys enjoyed.